You just landed in.
Wait,
Where
where
are
are we
we again?
again? Hello, guys. How are you? Here we are again, Aggie and Monica. Thank you for joining us again. And today we have a special episode because Aggie just recently returned from Fiji, Fiji Island, which is quite a unique destination. At least I think from Europe. I don't really know so many people who has been to Fiji, so we were thinking that it was to talk about it a little bit. So Aggie, if you can share some good memories, experience, how was it?
Yeah, hi everyone again. Yes, so we were lucky enough to travel to the other side of the world with my boyfriend, who actually been awarded this trip from the company where he's working at for his performance.
What a nice company
Yeah,
to work
right.
for, huh?
I think I was more excited than him when we figured out about the trip. So he could bring a plus one, so we went together. So yes, it's a very long trip. Probably that's why not a lot of people went there. And I actually also haven't met with anyone who. No, actually, it's not true because one of my colleagues actually said he was there. But it's a very long trip. Um, Luckily, we could fly with business class, so we had the chance to adjust the seat to a bed, so we could sleep on the flight. But it was a between 30 to 35 hours long flight.
Wow, that's a long trip.
Exactly, it was extremely long. With business, I would say it was quite okay to fly that. But and of course there are some practicalities afterwards which I will share with the others what to do before you go for a very long trip, which is good to know. But yes, it was an amazing. So let's start from the beginning, picking the right flight, because we still had to book our own flights through a travel agency actually, which his company is working with. But it was, yeah, it is. It's normally one of the toughest part of the process when you're traveling a trip, in my opinion, to book flight. You want a flight which is not taking too long. It's not super expensive, and is going to countries which you may even that it's okay to transit. We always only transited through the countries, but now afterwards we already had a trip. Now we would probably do it in a different way if we would travel again. Um, but overall, yeah, it was an amazing experience. So, if I could add some tips, just to share about flying, like booking flights, because even between business, there are quite big differences in the airlines. So I would suggest definitely do some research. Great that we have internet, so a lot of people share feedback about the different airlines. So read it, definitely. Of course, you will have some limitations about the price and is this going to the destination you want to go and how long is the change, etc. Um, but I would definitely be more selective next time picking the airlines because yeah, huge differences. So we went with one, two, three, four different airlines. So we were flying from Copenhagen to Finland, Helsinki, and we are flying with a Finnish airline, Finnair. Um, I have to say, and then from Helsinki to Tokyo, Japan, was our next destination. That was, uh, I don't know if I remember very well, but they are, yeah, between like 10, 12 hours, something like that, if I remember well. So that was Finnair we were flying with. Uh, I have to say, first class comparing all the flights, very good service, very nice seats, very spacious, I would say. And I like the fact that it's kind of facing to the front because some airlines kind of moving it or turning it a little bit inwards. So when you are just sitting straight and you have your kind of space in the flight, it's um it's a bit more private and you can have better sleep at night, and you don't need to worry too much about the screen, because some places you have to move the screen in and out, and there you just have a screen in front of you. So yeah, Finnair was my favorite. Very then food, guys. Oh my god! I don't know how much you care about the food on the plane. I know we don't care, but the food. Oh my god! I think it was better than some of the good restaurants' food. So serious. I
So
had
what did you
like
eat?
a steak with some sauce and
Wow.
vegetables. Oh my god! I think it was so good. And oh, I actually really don't remember what was our starter and the dessert, but I really remember that it was like a wow. Like every single dish, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I can get used to that. Um, but then we switched from Tokyo to Fiji. We were flying with Fiji airline. Of course, the planes are a bit older, so you could see it was not brand new, a bit used materials, etc. But the service level is the plus plus. I think the service level was the best on the Fiji airline. And the seats were still comfortable. You could see it's not the newest plane, but it was very comfortable, and the food was amazing as well. They are eating coconut with coconut, a lot of nice coconut pancake for breakfast. Also, very nice dinner. They have a lot of curry and Asian influenced food. Um, so I think my memory is really not good, but we also had very, very nice food on Fiji Airlines. Yeah, and again, the service was a wow. That's a different level. That's something all the airlines should learn from. I would send everyone to Fiji, go for a training, learn how to do service, proper service, because they know how to do service. It's like, wow, exemplary. Um,
But those people were
they
local
were local
people on the
people,
airline.
exactly. And
Yeah. So I guess the maybe it's the
yeah,
cultural thing. No, or what did you experience in the island? I guess they are really. I can imagine they are like kind of like friendly and really welcoming
so
people.
when we arrived, they were coming with these necklaces made out of clams. Um, they were just like,
Wow, like in
yeah,
Hawaii.
we had that feeling, this island feeling, and they were like with the flower in the ear, and actually they have kind of a rule. I think they explained that if you have the flower on your right side, then you're married. If you have it on the left side, then it means you're single. Um,
Oh, so where did you put egg in the flower?
And they said if you're confused, you just put it in the
Just
middle.
kidding.
Yeah, we had it on my right. We are not married, but we consider each other as
On
a
both
commitment.
sides.
So yeah. But yeah, so we got flower and the clam necklace, and then they were taking us to our hotel, and immediately, guys, I mean, already when the plane landed, you could see that the windows got super like blurry because of the humidity. It was so humid that it felt like we stepped out and we just got a shower. Like I think my hair, my hair originally is a bit curly,
Yeah.
and when I stepped out in this humid air, my hair was like immediately extremely curly, very big. It was very humid, very hot.
So it's worse
It's,
than
it
Mauritius,
was,
the
but you
humidity.
know also why? Because normally their rainy season ends end of May, and no, actually no, end of it's earlier, end of April, because May is already dry season normally. But and then we traveled end of May or mid May, and they said that their rainy season is kind of still, it was still there a bit. So the first day it was pouring raining. We were a bit scared that, oh my god, we hope they didn't travel to the other side of the world just to get rain for a whole week. Because according to the weather,
Just sitting in your rooms, watching the rain from
yeah,
your
exactly. We
window.
were a bit like panicking. We actually even packed a rain jacket because it said the forecast said rain for the whole time. But actually, the first day it was raining, and then it was not raining at all. It was sunny, so we were lucky. And the people, oh my god, like the whole check-in process to the hotel. We had a very nice hotel by the sea. Um, and it was an adult only section, so with our own bar and restaurants, and yeah, it was super nice. um, it was the people itself everywhere were, they were very very nice, because people in Mauritius were also very nice, but in Fiji it's a bit different. I cannot even compare it to any place where I've been so far, because island people are always nice. They are always a bit different, more down to earth. Just they have this genuine humanity with no impact of this capitalism we are right in. They are extremely nice, extremely warm, very, very friendly, very, very helpful, smiling all the time, and like giggling around and telling you stories. And they just want to have you the best experience in your life there, because they know they are so detached from everything. So Fiji is above New Zealand, in case you don't know, and under Honolulu, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Not too many people would travel there, mainly New Zealand or Australian people. But yeah, it is very, very far from rest of Europe or rest of the world, actually. So when they get tourists, they are extremely grateful for that. And they really do everything for you to have the best experience, because Fiji is living mainly from tourism. So yeah, so they really want to make sure that you have a good experience, so you want to return. It was amazing, guys. Like the beautiful nature itself, the birds, and what I recognized, which was very different as well from every place where I've been, is that nature is so alive there. Like we had like a little lake in the hotel, and you could see like frogs are jumping, pushing each other, the fishes are jumping out, like every living creature, and the birds, everything living creature was so active and so like just living. They were, how to say, the animals and the living creatures were so easy going around you, or like they were more like open and vibrant. It was, yeah, it was amazing. It was very very nice. But I have to say, the first thing I recognized was not too many people going to the sea. We were tanning by the pool, which was right by the sea, actually, like a few steps down. You had the ocean. But I was like, why no one is going in the water? And of course, we did some research before we went, so we knew there are some sharks, but how scary it is. Like it's a bit crazy for me.
It's quite scary for me, at least.
Yeah. You know, so we actually stayed around the pool, because it's like, yeah, let's not be that exception, that we go in and something happens. Of course, there were some people who went in, but people were mainly staying around.
But is it common there that sharks attack people, or did you hear anything, or they at the hotel they told you something? Oh, it's not recommended to go to the sea, or it's just tourists were scared and
Actually,
they
they
didn't
normally
go in.
say that the waves, which is more scary, that the power, it can pull you in very quickly. They actually respect sharks as their gods. A lot of the people there, and I think a lot of the people, like locals, kind of select their own god, and normally that's something in nature, so something nature related, which is, I think, very beautiful. They respect sharks. They respect all living creatures, and they have very rarely, yeah, they very rarely have attacks like shark attacks there, simply
Mhm.
because there are a lot of fish, so they don't starve. They have, I think they have a lot of reservations, like marine life reservations. So it's really untouched. There are a lot of corals and beautiful fish. And so they have kind of a good life there. It doesn't mean there is no attack at all, of course. But in general, I think they are quite good friends. They don't hurt the animals there, and animals are not stupid. If you don't harm them, they will have no reason to attack you. Um, so actually, it is quite a thing there to swim with the sharks, or dive with the sharks or snorkel with the sharks because they are in general quite friendly with you. You know, they are not super aggressive. They have a lot of reef sharks, these black and white tip sharks, which are not as big or not growing as big as like a tiger or bull shark. They also have tiger and bull shark and white sharks, but they don't really have. And of course, that doesn't guarantee that they never. We know in nature bull sharks can be a bit more aggressive. But I think in general they have very very rare cases. I was looking at the statistics because I was curious, and they own most of the accidents they have is around fishing accidents. So you know when you have this any like the fish in the sea which got just caught, of course it attracts sharks. Yeah.
So did you try to swim with sharks or dive with them?
No, it's actually a funny story because when we were there, and now and I'm always like this. I like to stay around the pool, but I want love to do activities. And I was like, let's book some activities. You know, let's see Fiji. You know, let's meet with the locals and yeah, let's do. I love water, and I was like, let's do snorkeling. And and then I was booking a trip for us, which actually said the tour said it was an island trip with to see the marine life with a biologist. So I was like, it's great, also great to learn about marine life, and they have this huge marine life reservation there, so completely untouched. And they also kind of educate us about, yeah, what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do in water, right? So the day before we were going there, I was searching for the islanding because we had so many programs every day that you hardly had time to do like proper research. So it was really a last minute thing. And when I searched on the island, and now I need to check the name of it again because it, it's um, it's a beautiful island. It was like 2.5 hours away from the main Fiji island. It's called Kuota Island, Barefoot Kuota Island. So first of all, when we were going with the big boat or the ship, they were not allowed to stop on the island for the sake of not ruining again for the marine life. So they stay a bit more in, and little boats are coming to pick us up and take us to the island. So when we were about to go, there were, I have to say, like a lot of the people there were like men, you know, like guys, not too many girls. And then, and then, and then, of course, when we did this research, I seen that this island is one of the world's biggest shark reservation. So people like
Oh
normally
wow.
go there to see sharks. So I remember when I checked it on my phone the first time, and I was looking and I was reading, and I was just thinking, I was laying in the hotel bed, and I was just thinking, oh my God, should I tell it to my boyfriend? And I was panicking a little bit inside as well. Oh my God, what are we going to do here? Are we going to go? Should we not go? It was like, well, we already paid for the trip. Should we just go there and make beach? Or, yeah, I was a bit nervous, to be honest. And then I was like, okay, I need to tell him. And then I was just like, and I was like, look, I booked this trip for tomorrow. He's like, yeah. And I was like, look, I didn't really do much research, but I just figured there would be sharks there. He was just like, what? I'm not going to go in the water. I was a bit like, and I was like, look, I'm nervous too, but we already paid for the trip. Let's just go. Let's see what's gonna happen. I was like, look, we're gonna have a biologist with us, and he was like, must know how to handle them or what to do. And I was like, look, I'm not a fan of seeing sharks either, but let's be open minded, yeah. So, but I have to
Oh my
say,
god, and
my
what did
heart
you
was
say?
like beeping, like, oh my God, we will have to go in the water. There'll be sharks there. Oh my God, am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Like all these things coming into your mind. Um, and then, yeah, when we were traveling there, and there was this guy, a local man, just dancing on the top of a rock in the middle of the ocean, like as a welcoming, the guests coming there. He was wearing, Fijian people, they used to be cannibals. So they have this outfit, what
Wow.
you normally see in the movies. They will have this outfit and black, coloring the face. They had
Oh,
like
wow. That's cool.
X-like shaped whatever in their hand. They're dancing with it. They had this ritual dance. That's how they backed on it. It looked amazing. Actually, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this island is just so unique. And then the way how we started going with the boat, the water. Oh my god, it's actually I have to say it's beating my wrist a bit. Like we've seen such giant corals I never ever seen. Like never in my life. They were so big and so many fish, and it was a different level. And of course, Murphy, our GoPro died. We for some reason we were unable to charge it, so we couldn't take it with us to the island. And the reason why we bought a
Oh.
GoPro is to be able to go with it. Yeah. So I was so annoyed. I was like, can't believe we don't have the GoPro now, and we're going in here at the other end of the world, and we're not gonna record it. Oh my god. And then of course our biologists have nothing because all the shark, of course, the shark swimmers took all the technicals with them. But when we arrived, yeah, I told the biologist. He was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna do some presentations. We're gonna learn a little about marine life. But don't worry, we're not gonna spend too much time out. We're just gonna go in the water as quick as possible so we can enjoy the time there. And I was just looking inside, and I was like, "Oh my god, when should I stop him?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, can I just have a question?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was, by the way, an Italian man living there. He was like, and I asked him, and I was like, "Look, I love water normally, and I'm looking forward to this experience, but can we do it in a way that we don't meet with the sharks?" And he was just looking, and he was like, well, actually here he can take us here to the front. There are not too many. Normally you don't see sharks, and it's like, if you're lucky you maybe see some. And I was like, okay, he still doesn't get it. No, because no, actually I just asked, are we gonna see sharks? Because I didn't want to see them. And he was like, yeah, if you're lucky we're gonna see some. And I was just like, no, actually I don't want to be lucky, we we don't.
You wanna be unlucky this
So I
time.
remember my
Oh.
boyfriend was just looking at me, and he was just like, "You're crazy, you're crazy." I could see he was so scared, and I was a little bit like, it was just the two of us, so it was kind of like a private tour for us. And then I was just looking at him, to the guide, and I was like, "Look, we are a little bit afraid of the sharks. Like, how can we make it in a safe? Like, can you make sure we're gonna be safe?" And he said, "Don't worry."
You're not gonna be
Yeah, he
eaten
was
by a
like,
shark, can you make sure?
they're very nice animals. They are not aggressive, and he kind of explained that they have most of the. They don't really see us. What they do, they feel that we are there, so they feel our energy, and some these receptors are around the mouth. So he said normally if he has this kind of matter around thing, if he puts it there in front of the mouse, he thinks there is a ball there, so he would just turn around. That's why they normally say if a shark comes, just
Mm.
kind of put your hand there in front of the nose, and then just kind of softly, wave it to another way.
Oh,
But he said no matter if you
okay.
kind of course, if you are swimming like this, you're going to attract them more. But he said that even if you just stand still, the shark will know you're there because they just feel your energy, which is a bit scary for me. Um, but yeah, so actually he brought, these, how you call these belts, but you have on the boats as well. Normally, if someone would sink or struggle in the water, you can use those belts to get them.
Oh, okay, yes.
So he brought one. He was like, "I'm bringing one of those, and which has ropes, so we can hold on the rope because once you're going under the water, you can easily kind of get far away from each other based on the waves or how you swim."
Mhm.
Um, and I was just thinking, the thing is like we were full on trust in him, and we were just walking, and and I was just thinking, but I didn't say anything. I was just thinking like, how the hell is that thing gonna save us if a shark is coming? Like, and then so we went in, we started walking, and we actually hardly could walk in the water. We were only like knee height in level in the water because there were already so many corals there that you couldn't step anymore, and we were not allowed to step on them because you would kill them if you step on them.
Gosh.
So we already started to swim quite close. So the corals were so close to your body. At some point, I was like, I hope it doesn't touch me, because some. By the way, did you know that corals are animals, not plants? I thought I thought they were
Yeah, yeah,
plants,
yeah.
but he said no, they are animals, and they are the same. Some of them, like they are eating with the tiny, tiny kind of legs, or what is that, at the end of their hands or arms. And of course, some of them protect themselves in a way that it has almost they are in the same kind of race as jellyfish, and they some of them has
Hmm.
similar kind of
So they
they
can
can
bite
kind of
you or
stink you a
sting
bit,
you.
and some of them are can stink you really bad, and some is just a little bit. Um, but yeah, they have this kind of fire coral, which can sting you really bad actually. And they also had those some of them there, but luckily only in the deeper water. But still, I didn't want them to touch me, because I was like, okay, who wants to be stinged, you know? So when we were swimming, I was trying to swim in a way that, oh my god, I hope it doesn't touch my stomach. That was already one thing. And then we started going, and then all of a sudden, this giant deepness under you, these huge corals, and a lot of nice colorful fish. And of course, he was trying to explain us how they he was showing us how they're trying to reserve all the corals. So all these broken pieces which are laying on the bottom of the ocean, you can just go down, pick them up, and then try to stick it on top of another coral. Like they are hard, but you just kind of stick it in between so it's stable and it's there. Then it can start growing again. So if in case you are around Mauritius and you see these broken corals, you can always pick up a piece and then just stick it to another coral. And don't use the
Okay.
chemical-based
To know.
sun creams, because that's killing them.
Yeah.
So everyone shift to mineral-based or natural sun creams if you can, because you are killing your nature around you with those chemical ones. Yeah, so we were doing some of those activities, and then of course I was just like looking on the water all the time. There is a
Where are the sharks? Where are
because
the
you have these
sharks?
giant, huge corals, really huge ones. I was just like, wow, like huge. So you can so easily have fish hiding behind, and of course, fish they're hiding behind, and sometimes they were coming so quick that it was just all of a sudden there, and then you're swimming so slow in the ocean. If something comes, like they can swim you down like so easily. So actually, while we were in, we haven't seen any sharks, but the way how we got out, we could see three black tip sharks, one after the other, swimming in a very shallow water, like knee level water, very shallow water. And then when we were about to leave the island, we seen a reef shark, also very quickly swimming. They don't really care; they are more scared. What they said, and it was
Hmm.
true. They were just very quickly swim. They kind of almost get scared of you, so they just swimming away very quick. Um, so yeah, they and it was also kind of in shallow water. So guys, if you believe that you can just stay in the shallow water and just swim there, if you're afraid of shark, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you think if you're in the shallow water, nothing's gonna
They
happen,
like
but
shallow.
yeah. Oh, and how big is the reef shark? Is like
They
two
can grow
meters
bigger, but
or?
we've seen a fairly small one. They have a lot of baby sharks there. So we luckily seen the baby ones. They were cute. But of course, cute that, they are going fast. Yeah,
Certain
of course,
distance,
if they
they're
would have
cute.
stopped and be curious about us, probably I would have reacted different. But they were just doing their own things and just passed by. No,
They
it's
didn't
okay.
care.
So it was fine.
Oh, too bad you couldn't
Yeah,
record it. You don't have evidence you were there with sharks.
yeah, and these things happen so quick, and when you don't expect it, because actually we didn't expect them to see. So of course I have all the pictures and like lots of sea cucumbers, which look like a bit dirt in the water. A lot of beautiful, extremely blue starfish. And yeah, and I actually we didn't even check. We were also snorkeling in another place before, and we didn't even check the outcome of it, the video. But we also recorded some fish there. We seen Doris from
Okay.
Nemo. Do you know Doris, the blue fish?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And And it was swimming exactly like Doris in the cartoon. With the tiny little. It was just like a bit like confused and then going around. It was exactly like in a cartoon. Like really, real life was the same. And yeah, and a lot of very nice fish, and some of them were very big, colorful fish, and I got even a bit scared with this very round face. And they got curious, and so they got very close to me. And then I started to kind of panic under the water because you're so slow, like they have such a different skill in the water than us. And both of them were coming and being curious, and I was just like, "Oh, don't get too close to me." Of course,
Go
they
away,
can
go
swim
away.
around you so quick. Yeah, but I mean, it's fine. But
Yeah.
it's very different in the water if you're not used to, like having those big fish around you.
Even small fish, I don't like when they come close and they touch me. I don't know. For some
And we've
reason,
seen
it just
some of
feels
the
weird.
trumpet fish we see in Mauritius as well. They have this very big
Yeah.
nose. They are kind of brown, very long, and they are very curious normally. So they were just coming and staying under us, and then just looking like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Yeah. So
Wow.
Fiji was amazing. Everything, people, nature, the islands is in it's completely.
So it's not so crowded, not so many tourists there, no? That's why it's so the nature is still like
Yeah,
there, and because if it's a lot of tourists, they destroy
true.
it. Like here in Mauritius, I think it's just so
Mm.
many tourists that's why the corals and everything is like, not the same as
And
before.
it's that's why we also I think it was so nice that we had this tour guided session with a biologist, and I love that they do that because I think one thing is that biologists do their own work, but another thing is to educate people. And when you do these tours, you educate them, and we learned so much about you know and most of the things you can know, you don't touch things in the water. You let them be because you have bacteria yourself in your hands and in your body and your finger, and you respect every nature creature there, right? And you don't get in their zones. It's just like you, human. You would not like if a giant something would come in your face and bother you, right? We should do this
Yeah.
exact same with the animals. Like keep the distance, leave them, have a look. Of course, go and see them, but keep the respectful space.
Keep
Yeah,
the
exactly.
distance. Yes, like here in Mauritius, like you can go and like swim with turtles, and it's so annoying because people go and they want to
Mm,
touch it. They want to touch the turtle, and it clearly they say, "Okay, do not touch the turtle," and still the people they want to just touch it, and it's just so
yeah.
annoying. No, you shouldn't. Okay, you can look. It's really nice, but why do you want to touch it?
Yeah, exactly. I think
It's
because of
really
course everyone wanna show that picture or say, "Yeah, I did that," but I think now humanity in general. I think we are. I'm hoping that we are getting to a point that we learn that look, those animals and creatures around us has just as much right as we have. Keep the distance. Keep respect. Don't touch on any creature. Don't step on them. Don't touch them. Don't give them space. Um, and it doesn't matter if they're in the water or outside the water. Come on, like, do you really need to touch that thing? Respect them. Give respect to nature. Give respect to everything around you. Yeah. But if you can, or anyone has the opportunity, or they want a honeymoon, nice honeymoon somewhere, go to Fiji. Oh my God, amazing. Super
oh.
service, nice food.
And if you want to swim with
Sorry?
sharks, if you want to swim with
If you
sharks,
want.
you can go there.
Yeah, and there are actually one of the guys, my boyfriend's colleague, they went swimming. They went to this trip or something similar, and they said they had like 10 reef sharks coming around them. Imagine 10
Wow.
sharks around you. And they
Ooh.
said at first it was a bit scary, but they were just they stopped a bit because they were curious and then they left. Um, I probably would have freaked out, to be honest. But they said they were
For
friendly
sure.
and it was nice. It's also, again, important not to touch them, don't get close to them, keep the distance, keep respect. And then if the animal get curious, try to stay peaceful and not move around or panic. But yeah, again, I think yeah, do some research before you go, and go with a good intention, not for the sake of to say, yeah, I did this with the sharks, how cool I am, but yeah, just be normal, please. Okay,
Yeah.
but should we
Wow.
give some tips for those who want to travel? Because now I was just thinking, because when we were traveling, I was just thinking, "Ah, it would have been nice if, for example, when I went for this long trip, um, very little thing, practical thing. Most of the airlines will give you like a little necessary, like a kit with toothbrush, toothpaste, maybe even some hand cream or something to cover your eyes or socks and slippers. But I was really missing something first. Hairbrush. If you're gonna sleep on the airline, it's nice to have a hairbrush, so you're not gonna look like a homeless person by the end of the trip. That was me after 30 hours. I completely forgot to put a hairbrush, and of course, I couldn't rely on my boyfriend to get the hairbrush. But yeah, I really look messy, so I was just wishing if I would have a hairbrush with me, so I look a bit more consolidated. And then another thing, some kind of face cream or face oil or a hand cream, just a mini version, so you can, yeah, hydrate yourself. Because yeah, after a long trip, you're not gonna look the best, I have to say. All the wrinkles will show and the tiredness on your
Yeah.
face, so it's good to have something to refresh your face.
Yeah, it dries you out flying. Your skin dries out, and sometimes they give you cream and lip balm, but not. It depends on the
Yeah, and
airline.
also like the quality. To be honest, I'm
So
extremely picky with the quality of these products. Like I don't like.
yeah, then you need to
Yeah,
bring your
exactly. I
own.
don't like
Yeah.
chemical based, anything has chemical in it or petroleum or sulfates or whatever. I don't use it normally. So I always have just my own little jojoba oil, for example, and just put it on my face or skin. Um, yeah, so that's good to have. Um,
And on duty free shops, you
yeah,
can use
yeah,
samples.
true.
Put creams on your face,
You know,
perfume.
that was so amazing because that's exactly what I did because I forgot some things and I when we went to the duty free shop on the transits and I was like, great, they have all the try-ins, so I could just get a little bit on my hand, on my face, and I was like, oh, nice. I wake myself up a bit, but I have to say on the business class we had natural sun not sun sorry soap and also hand lotion in the bathrooms, which because of normally wherever you go they only have these really chemical strong one, which then your hand almost hurts after you use the soaps. But what we had on the business class was very nice, I have to say. But yeah, bring a little cream with you for your face, for your hands, little hairbrush. Um, that's it. You don't really need anything else, to be honest. And a good book if you want. And drink a lot of water on a long trip. Water is very important because a lot of people can have issues with the clots if you're not hydrating yourself enough and move around a bit. Um,
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say drink a lot of alcohol, but no, you said
I
water.
actually didn't drink alcohol because I was kind of thirsty all the time. Probably because of this tiredness and being in the air for so long.
Yeah,
So I didn't.
you cannot drink enough in a plane. I'm
Yeah,
always feeling like I'm so thirsty. My skin is dry, even if I drink.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And yeah, for a long trip, um, any other suggestion?
yeah, I think also a good advice to put your most important stuff to your hand
Yeah,
luggage, because it can happen that your big luggage
yeah,
can get lost, and then you don't have your, like for example, if you have medicine and yeah, there's
yeah,
some like new clothes, at least one clothes, so you have something to wear if your luggage get lost
I,
somewhere, especially if you need to transfer somewhere, because then it can easily happen that your luggage missed your
Exactly. If you
flight.
have a delay, it can easily stuck
So,
there because they will not have the time to move the luggages from one plane to
yeah.
another. There was actually one guy in our group who didn't get his luggage. So the whole time he was in the
Oh.
same set, poor guy. And he was about to get his
No.
luggage only like a day or two before they left. So imagine the
Oh.
whole trip with one set of clothes. I felt so.
Well, I think you have some kind of
Yeah, of
insurance.
course.
Usually, it's included, and then if they lose your luggage, you can buy at
Yeah,
least like
exactly. But
some
imagine when you're in
clothes,
the middle of an
maybe. Or
island, you have nothing there. Like,
yeah.
and that's actually one good advice. If you
Okay.
go to these islands, where whichever island it is, like these Mediterranean islands, um, always bring some of the basic things with you, like sun cream, for example, or mosquito spray, or yeah, because mosquito spray is a must as well on these islands.
But it was not available in the
It's
island.
like
I
very,
mean, in the
very hard to
shops.
find. And even if
Wow.
you find, they may not necessarily gonna get the good quality ones, or you get something for 5 or 10 times the price, and you don't want to pay that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. And the island usually everything is
Exactly.
much more
It's of
expensive.
course you
So
need to think about the transportation and to get those products there. It has a cost, right? So
yeah.
pack. I think when we went for this trip 1.5 weeks, I packed like 8 bottle, and one bottle was like maybe 200 milliliter sun cream. I packed
What?
eight
8
bottles
bottle
for the
of
two of
sun cream?
us. I
Oh
have to
my
say, we
god!
used six, completely used six.
Wow.
One
In
and
a
a half
week or how
weeks.
long
Yeah,
you have been? One and a
the two
half
of us.
weeks.
So almost three
Wow.
bottles each.
Then you put a lot of
Well, the
sunscreen
thing
on
is,
you.
we didn't get burned this time because if you remember in Mauritius, I got completely
Yeah, you got it
burned. Like, okay, not my whole body, but
was really bad.
my lips, my ear, and my nose were so badly burned. Oh my god! Never in my life it was burned so much.
Yeah, I thought it's
It
gonna
was
fall off.
actually
Your mouth
it was
and
a
your
lot
ears.
hard. Like if I would have put my lips on a pan and cook it, I probably would have looked. It's like you fried completely my lips. Same with my nose and my ears. They
Wow.
were
It was a bit scary,
completely hard.
guys.
So don't yeah, prepare with sun cream for sure. That's and to be fair, now we had no burning at all, and we were on the sun a lot, so you need that sun cream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was Fiji. It was an amazing experience. Beautiful islands, beautiful white sand beaches, palm trees everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful. So definitely can recommend. And maybe in the next episode, or should we just maybe shortly, or we can do another episode maybe talking about some tips, how we booking flights, how we booking hotels, what are the apps we use normally, what are the tricks, little tricks you can get to get the best price for you. I think it definitely worth to have an episode on that because I think now that we are more experienced, there are a lot of differences actually how you book those tickets and apartments. So you can save some money if you know the little tricks. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Good. So thank you guys for
Okay.
listening. I hope you got some inspiration for your next honeymoon or nice couple trip to visit. Go and Google it. It's beautiful. Both Mauritius and Fiji. So visit an island. It's a one of a lifetime experience for sure. Um, and then in our next episode, we're gonna share some tips with you guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.